We're going to look at some of my favourite voicings on the guitar today, and in the process we're going to learn that little musical excerpt that I just played. Why do I like these voicings so much? I think it's something to do with the fact that there's very close intervals within the voicing, which creates a sort of, I mean, on their own they sound a little bit unstable, but within the context of the voicing it can make the chord sound very ethereal and dreamy. That is very appealing to me for some reason. And maybe it will be for you too. So let's have a look and see what's going on. If you want to follow along with the tabs, as always, they are available. Check the description. This is kind of counterintuitive for me, but I would urge you to actually try and learn these without tabs, because that will help your ear. But then I don't get any money, so swings and roundabouts. But I want you to improve more as a guitarist, and one of the main things that you need to be working on is your ear training. And the best way to do that is to learn stuff by ear. Don't always rely on tabs. But at the same time, I mean, I use tabs. Everyone uses tabs. Tabs can be a great tool, but it should be supplementary. You shouldn't rely on them all the time. Use your ears as well. And on that note, my tabs are available in the description. So do get the tabs. I've got a Patreon page and all that shit as well. So if you want to, follow me there and help me continue to put out educational material and the like, that would be great. First things first, I use a capo a lot. Get yourself a capo if you don't have one. Obviously you can play this without a capo, but these chords just sound something nice with a capo. There's something very sweet about a capo high up the neck, and it just makes the guitar sound delightful to my ears. So get a capo. G7th, this is my one. They're great. They've treated me well over the years. The main chord progression, when we get into the main chord progression, after the first couple of chords, well, after the first 4 chords I play, the main chord progression is basically, if I didn't have the capo, it would be a C, G, E minor, and a D major. But because of the capo, on the 5th fret, this C shape becomes an F. So it's now an F going to a C, but it's the G shape that you're familiar with. Then to this E minor shape, it's actually A minor. And then we go to this G, which is actually a D shape. But I'm playing it there. Anyway, just to get that out of the way. So if I refer to the C shape, that's what I mean there, to avoid any confusion. Hopefully that's not too confusing. Okay, so we're starting off with this F major 9 chord, which is based off of the familiar bar chord, major bar chord, with the root on the 5th string. You'll probably be familiar with that, and it can be played with 2 bars, with your 1st and 3rd finger, or some people like to scrunch all of their fingers up on 1 fret, and then that gives you access to the high note as well, but it's quite tricky to play that. But if you do it like that, that will make this next chord easier to achieve, because we're literally just taking our little finger off, so that creates like a sus2 sound, and then we're stretching it all the way up to the 12th fret and playing that, and it's tricky at first, but sounds absolutely delightful. I'm sure you'd agree. So it's worth putting the work in, forcing your hand into that position. Not if it hurts, obviously. That would be irresponsible of me to tell you to pursue that if it's hurting you. But a little bit of discomfort is not a bad thing. But pain, on the other hand, is bad. And there you go. It's a beautiful chord. It should be learnt. It should be used. It should not be abused. Use it wisely. The next chord is a G major add 11. Shall we just go with that? Because, I mean, who knows really, to be honest. That could be a G add 11, G major add 11. There's a 3rd in there. There's also a 4th or an 11. So yeah, let's go G major add 11. The jury's out on that one, I'd say. and it's played. It would help if I told you how it's played. It's like the C shape. You're shifting it up 2 frets, and then you're putting your little finger on the 10th fret of the first string. Great stuff. There's that interval, the really close interval. You got a 3rd and a 4th next to each other. On its own, sounds horrendous, right? I mean, I actually don't mind it. I think it sounds unstable to normal people. That's not a nice sound. But within the context of the chord, suddenly that dissonance disappears, and you're left with this glorious sounding chord. It's just beautiful. Piano players are able to do those kind of voicings very easily because obviously it's all laid out a lot more, a lot simpler. So guitarists find it harder to do those kind of voicings. So when you can utilize it, it can turn heads. And then the next chord is this, everyone's favorite. It's like a C add 9. Obviously because of the capo, we're up at F, so it's F add 9. You're probably familiar with that chord because you've learned Wonderwall or Sweet Home Alabama, or whatever else uses it. It's a very common chord, but for good reason, because it sounds great. I remember one of the first songs I learned was the Green Day tune Good Riddance, Time of My Life. It had that chord in, and I was in awe of that chord. I was like, wow, this is great. I could play this for days. And I did, and pissed everyone off. But yeah, it's a great chord. I've got the diagram up, so I don't need to explain it. You know what it is. And then we're going back up to G, back up to this C-shaped G, but I'm shifting my fingers around. And instead of using my 3rd, 2nd and 1st finger, I'm using my little finger, my 3rd and my 2nd finger. So my little finger's getting the root. And then this allows my 1st finger to hammer on to the 7th fret of the 1st string. That's just another delightful sounding chord. I'm sure you'd agree. What you'll probably notice as well is that I'm utilising that sort of arpeggiated picking technique for the chords. And I'm using all of my fingers and my thumb on this hand. Even the little finger, so that's what you gotta do. Because it's worth it. Your little finger will probably be like, nah, I'm not having that. And you'll have to train it. And over time, it will submit. I mean, I don't really use my little finger for much else other than little kind of bursts of notes like that. It's handy to get it involved, So that's the intro. It's just the chords. It's basically just going from a G to an F, back to a G, back to an F. And then we're into the main loop, which again starts on this F add 9. And the picking here is, I'm using my thumb, index, and then I'm using both middle and ring finger. And then I'm going back to the thumb, and then I'm basically taking both my 1st and 2nd fingers off, and then picking the 3rd string. Sorry, the 4th string. And I'm taking my 2nd finger off because it's about to be placed on the 8th fret, ready to play the next chord. And then we go into the next chord, which is this G shape, but it's actually a C chord. And the picking is thumb. It's the same thing, you're just cycling through the fingers. You'll notice my 1st finger's on the 6th fret, and then immediately pulls off to open. And then you pick back down the chord. So that slowly is. Both of those together. And then we go into the A minor, which is this familiar E minor shape. And the picking's the same, it's just thumb, index, and then both my ring and middle finger. And then I'm plucking the 5th string again with my index finger. And I've taken my 2nd finger off the 4th string, so it's open. That's the pattern. And then I'm getting ready for the next chord by moving my little finger up, hovering above the 10th fret of the 5th string to lead us into the next chord. Those two notes are kind of less accented. They almost act like ghost notes, I'd say, but still important. We're up at the 10th fret on the 5th string, playing the same note, and our little finger's grabbing that. And then we do this riff. You'll notice I bring my little finger off when I do the trill on the 3rd string. But that all together, as I said, the little finger's on the 10th fret, then you're playing the open 4th string, then you're fretting 7th fret, 9th fret, then open 3rd string, a little trill on the 7th fret and open again, and then 9th fret, 4th string, and then 3rd string open. And then that leads us back into the start of the loop again, which is the same. Back into the A minor. So then the next riff starts the same with a little finger on the 10th fret and playing the open 4th string, and then I'm hammering on with my 1st finger and then sliding up to the 9th fret, and then playing the open 3rd string and then plucking the 9th fret of the 4th string again, and then sliding back down and then open. So, and on the slide back down I'll probably take my little finger off by that point, like so. You might choose to, you could not hold your little finger on for the whole time if that makes it easier, so you just go. And that sounds good as well. So you could do that if that makes it easier. I would advise trying to practice it a little bit with the little finger held down, because it's just a different, it feels different and it sounds a little bit better to my ears, but adapt it to, you know, your own preferences. Because with that, you still got the G sustaining underneath. But the difference is subtle, so adapt it as you wish. And then we go back into the loop again, starts again the same, but this time we're hammering on to the 3rd. So that's the only difference. Then it's the same. Into the C. The same into the A minor. And then the riff changes again this time, so we're going, starts off the same as the first one with the hammer-ons, and that's the same, except we're not doing a trill there, we're continuing the run up, and we're going all the way up to that note. So little finger, open 4th string, hammer on 7th, 9th, open 3rd string, hammer on 7th, open 2nd string, and then playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then that leads us into the F add 9 chord again. But then we take our 3rd finger off to just be left with this F major 7 chord. And then we pick down the chord onto the 3rd, and then we do this little trill on the 3rd where we're sort of like quickly sliding up to the fret above and then immediately back down. And then we're pulling off. So it goes, so that slowly is. It's a really quick movement, that slide up and immediately down. And then a pull off. So that movement altogether is. And then we're back on the G add 11 chord. Picking for that is as follows. So I'm just sort of doing a thumb, index, middle, index, and then I'm using my then I'm shifting my whole hand up to the bottom 4 strings and just using all my fingers. And that's the end of the musical piece. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you gain something from that. I hope you can bask in the gloriousness of those chords. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. See you on the next one.